You're lying in bed, replaying a conversation. Someone said something or didn't say something, and your brain has been running it back on loop for the last hour. You've built their entire internal monologue for them. You have a theory. You feel it in your chest. Meanwhile, that person is asleep. They haven't thought about it once. So here's the actual question. Why does your brain spend this much real, measurable energy monitoring what someone thinks of you? When the evidence says they're barely thinking about you at all, the pain is the clue. In 2003, neuroscientist Naomi Eisenberger at UCLA put people in brain scanners and had them play a simple online ball-tossing game. Midway through, the other players stopped passing to them. Just like that, excluded. What lit up on the scan wasn't some vague emotional region. It was the dorsal anterior cingulate cortex, the same region that activates during physical pain. Not metaphorically, the same circuitry. Being left out of a meaningless game registered in the brain identically to breaking a bone. You don't have a department for social hurt and a separate one for real hurt. You have one department, and it doesn't negotiate. This is why you can't logic your way out of caring what people think. You're not being irrational. You're running software that was never designed for the world you actually live in. Go back 200,000 years. Your ancestors lived in bands of roughly 50 to 150 people. Robin Dunbar, an anthropologist at Oxford, spent decades studying primate brain size against social group size and found that our neocortex is neurologically optimized for groups of around 150, now called Dunbar's number. In a group that size, your reputation wasn't abstract, it was operational. If people decided you were unreliable or dishonest, you didn't get a performance review, you got exiled. And exile in the Pleistocene wasn't an inconvenience, it was a death sentence. No one survived alone on the African savanna. You needed people to share food when the hunt failed, to watch your back while you slept, to help raise your children. The group was life, so your brain built a surveillance system, the most sophisticated, always-on social monitoring apparatus in the animal kingdom. It tracked faces, read micro-expressions, cataloged who included you and who looked away, and ran constant background calculations. Am I still wanted here? Have I done something that might get me removed? The ancestors who were most attuned to subtle social shifts, who caught the cold shoulder before it became a coalition against them, those ancestors survived. They passed those nervous, socially hypervigilant genes straight down to you. You are the child of every person who ever lay awake worrying about what the tribe thought. Here's what nobody tells you. That system was calibrated for a group of 150 people where every relationship had direct survival weight. Now your brain is trying to run the same software on hundreds of social signals per day. Instagram likes, comment sections, a coworker's expression, a reply that came back 2 words shorter than usual. It cannot sort matters for actual survival from stranger on the internet. A dismissive comment from someone in another country who will never meet you registers as the same threat as rejection from a tribe elder 80,000 years ago. Your brain was never given the tools to tell the difference. And here's the part that should genuinely free you. The people you're worried about are running the exact same broken software. That person whose opinion you've been rehearsing responses to in the shower, they have their own loops, their own 3 a.m. mental courtroom where someone else is on trial. In 2000, psychologists Thomas Gilovich and Kenneth Savitsky at Cornell ran an experiment where subjects wore embarrassing t-shirts into a room full of people, then estimated how many noticed. Subjects guessed roughly half the room. The actual number was closer to a quarter. This is the spotlight effect. We consistently believe we are more observed, more judged, more remembered than we actually are. The spotlight feels real, but nobody's watching. Everyone is standing under their own spotlight, convinced the room is staring at them, too consumed by that to actually look at you. You're both standing in the dark, separately panicking, neither of you noticing the other. Here's what shifts when you actually sit with the mechanism. The fear of judgment isn't a character flaw. It isn't weakness, it is structural, woven into a brain that kept your ancestors alive through cooperation and reputation management in a world where the group was everything. Feeling it doesn't mean you're broken, it means the software is running. 200,000-year-old software in an environment it was never designed for, and that is not your fault. What you do with that knowledge is the only thing in your control. Your ancestors managed it in tight, interdependent worlds where one bad relationship in a group of 80 people was over 1% of your entire survival network turned hostile. They navigated that with none of the frameworks, none of the language to describe what they were feeling, nothing but the same nervous system you have right now. You're carrying 200,000 years of social survival in your chest. That thing you felt when the text came back too short. When you replayed the conversation for the 4th time, that wasn't weakness. That was every ancestor who ever lost standing and found their way back to belonging, reminding you that this has always mattered, that the fear of losing connection is just the shadow of how deeply you need it. Put your phone down. They're not thinking about it, but you were built to care. And that, in the end, is the most human thing about you.